Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. The story of United States bomber aviation is inseparable from the story of modern warfare itself. Long before stealth and precision-guided munitions, American bombers were designed to carry the fight deep into enemy territory, relying on altitude, formation flying, and overwhelming firepower. During the Second World War, these aircraft became symbols of industrial power, technological ambition, and strategic reach. One of the earliest and most influential heavy bombers was the B-29 Flying Fortress. Designed in the late 1930s, the B-29 embodied the American belief in daylight precision bombing. With its distinctive high-wing design and 4 engines, the aircraft was built to survive intense enemy fire. Its nickname came from its defensive armament, which surrounded the aircraft with machine guns covering nearly every angle of attack. Crews flying B-17s faced brutal conditions over Europe, often enduring freezing temperatures, flak-filled skies, and relentless fighter attacks. Yet the Flying Fortress proved remarkably durable, with many aircraft returning home despite severe damage. The B-17's weaponry was a critical part of its design philosophy. Multiple gun positions, including nose, dorsal, ball turret, waist, and tail guns, allowed bomber formations to defend themselves collectively. The tail turret, such as the one installed on the famous B-17F Memphis Belle, played a crucial role in countering pursuing fighters. Gunners operated in cramped spaces, relying on skill, coordination, and nerves of steel. These defensive systems did not make the aircraft invulnerable, but they significantly increased survivability and shaped bomber tactics for years to come. As the war progressed, the United States sought a bomber with even greater range, payload, and altitude performance. This led to the development of the B-29 Superfortress, one of the most advanced aircraft of the Second World War. The B-29 introduced pressurized crew compartments, remote-controlled gun turrets, and powerful engines optimized for high-altitude flight. It was designed to operate across vast distances, particularly in the Pacific Theater, where targets were often thousands of miles away. The B-29 is perhaps best known for its role in delivering the atomic bombs over Japan. As the only aircraft capable of carrying such weapons at the time, the B-29 became the platform for a mission that would permanently change global history. Beyond nuclear weapons, the aircraft carried massive conventional bomb loads, conducting devastating firebombing raids against industrial and urban targets. Its ordnance capacity and operational ceiling placed it at the pinnacle of wartime bomber development. Decades later, the legacy of these bombers continues through restoration and preservation efforts. In a remarkable demonstration of engineering and dedication, a B-29 was successfully started and flown again after more than 60 years in retirement. Bringing such an aircraft back to life requires painstaking inspection, component refurbishment, and an intimate understanding of vintage systems. The sound of those engines returning to life serves as a powerful reminder of the era when piston-driven bombers ruled the skies. Preservation efforts are equally important for aircraft that no longer fly. The Memphis Belle, one of the most famous B-17s of the war, represents both historical achievement and personal sacrifice. After surviving numerous combat missions, the aircraft eventually became a museum centerpiece.
The Memphis Belle.
Its move into the Second World War gallery at the National Museum of the United States Air Force was a carefully planned operation, ensuring that future generations can stand face to face with a symbol of aerial warfare history.
Photographer is available to take commemorative photos at the gift shop. Please take time this evening.
Museums play a vital role in telling these stories, not just through static displays, but through context. Visitors learn about the crews who flew these missions, the ground personnel who kept the aircraft operational, and the strategic doctrines that shaped their use. The B-17 and B-29 were not simply machines, but complex systems involving thousands of people across factories, airfields, and combat zones. Together, these bombers laid the foundation for modern strategic air power. Their successes and limitations influenced post-war bomber designs and helped shape the transition into the jet age and nuclear era. From the defensive gun turrets of the Flying Fortress to the pressurized cabins and long-range capability of the Superfortress, each innovation reflected lessons learned under combat conditions. The most intimidating supersonic bomber ever built is arguably the B-1 Lancer. It's recognizable by its shape, most notably its wings, which alter their angles depending on the pilot's needs in flight. Known as variable sweep wings, they are essential to this military aircraft's ability to operate at greater speeds and altitudes without encountering shock waves and drag that occur with straight wings. It required decades of intense evolution to perfect this design. That evolution started with earlier aircraft, like the F-111. The F-111 was a supersonic fighter bomber produced by General Dynamics in the 1960s. It became the first widely used military plane to feature wings that could be adjusted in flight to maximize performance at different speeds. The F-111 was an excellent air-to-ground attack aircraft, but was eventually retired in the 1990s. The last surviving F-111 is exhibited at the Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina. Next arrived the F-14 Tomcat. Similar to its predecessor, the F-14 also features variable sweep wings, which enabled the aircraft to operate at both high and low speeds. The F-14 was the U.S. Navy's selection over the Air Force's F-111. With a sleeker design, it possessed the ability to roll and turn at supersonic speeds. In a dogfight, the F-14 would probably prevail over the F-111. However, the F-14's payload capacity was significantly less than the F-111. The B-1 Lancer was designed to merge the air-to-ground strike capabilities of the F-111 with the agile and supersonic performance of the F-14. Developed in the 1970s, the design of the B-1 also incorporated a variable sweep wing. These have quite a span, moving from 15 degrees to 67.5 degrees. Forward-swept wing settings are used for takeoff, landings, and high-altitude cruising. Aft-swept wing settings are used during high subsonic and supersonic flight. The B-1's variable sweep wings and thrust-to-weight ratio deliver enhanced takeoff performance, allowing it to use shorter runways than previous bombers. The B-1 was deployed extensively during the Gulf War in the 1990s, when it proved to be a highly capable bomber. However, as military technology continued to advance, the B-1 began to reveal its age. In the early 2000s, the U.S. Air Force initiated a program to upgrade the B-1 with new avionics, communications equipment, and weapon systems. The B-1's upgrades have continued into the present day, with the newest version of the aircraft, the B-1R, incorporating improved engines, stealth technology, and other advanced systems. The B-1R is expected to remain in service for many years to come, continuing the legacy of this iconic and feared supersonic bomber. The history of supersonic flight stretches back to the early 20th century, when engineers and scientists began to examine the physics of supersonic speeds. In 1935, a German engineer proposed the concept of breaking the sound barrier by using a rocket-powered airplane. But it wasn't until more than a decade later, in 1947, when American test pilot Chuck Yeager became the first person to break the sound barrier in level flight in a Bell X-1 experimental aircraft. In 1952, the British produced the first aircraft that could exceed 1,000 miles per hour. And the Soviet Union in 1956 developed the first supersonic passenger airliner, beating the British-French Concorde by 16 months. Supersonic flight has also played a vital role in military aviation, with numerous supersonic fighter and bomber aircraft developed over the years, including the B-1 Lancer. The B-1 Lancer has 4 General Electric F-101 turbofan engines that generate a combined thrust of over 130,000 pounds. To test these engines and ensure they are in proper working order, the Air Force uses a specialized facility called a hush house. A hush house is a soundproof structure designed to contain the noise and exhaust from a jet engine during testing. The B-1 engines are evaluated in a hush house before and after maintenance or repairs to ensure they operate correctly and identify any potential issues that may need to be addressed. During testing, the B-1 is towed into the hush house, where the engine is started and run at various power levels while technicians observe its performance. The hush house is lined with sound-absorbing materials to reduce the noise from the engines. And it also includes a ventilation system that removes exhaust gases from the building. This testing process is critical to maintaining the B-1's operational readiness and ensuring the safety of its crew. It enables the Air Force to identify and resolve potential issues with the aircraft's engines before they become a problem. It ensures that the B-1 is prepared for any mission it may be called upon to perform. The evolution of American bomber aviation reflects a continuous balance between technology, strategy, and the demands of global conflict. From the rugged, gun-bristling B-17 Flying Fortress and the far-ranging B-29 Superfortress, to the supersonic power and flexibility of the B-1 Lancer, each generation of bombers built upon the hard lessons of the last. These aircraft were not only instruments of war, but milestones in aeronautical engineering, shaping doctrines that still influence air power today. Whether preserved in museums, restored to flight, or kept mission-ready through rigorous testing, U.S. bombers stand as enduring symbols of innovation, deterrence, and the ability to project power across the world when it matters most. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.